Yeah, let's go. Your boy Delray Richardson, platinum artist, platinum songwriter, straight game TV, coming back at you guys. Finally admitted it. I'm not going to say I told you so. I'm going to give you the information, the documentation, the audio, and where what I was saying has been confirmed. But Suge Knight making the or finally Mike Warner, what's happening? Brian Horsey, hell, yeah, we got to stay solid, man, no matter what. Two things you can't buy: character. I'm going to say it again. Two things that you can't buy is your character and your character. Or should I say your character and integrity? Two things you can't buy. What's up, Mike Warner, Brownsville, Brooklyn? I don't know if y'all seen it, but I'm about to give it to you. Everything that Michael Moore said was true. Suge Knight um, on Breakbeat Media uh, just got Reggie Wright in his feelings in regards to Suge Knight admitting that Reggie Wright did not come into the emergency room. Suge Knight did not say that Reggie did not come to the hospital. But I want you to pay attention to what I'm about to give you, because Michael Moore was telling the truth. It is true that there was a statement made over the radio, and Reggie Wright heard it. Reggie Wright confessed today on Bomb First. See, what happened today was so revealing, and so if y'all really been paying attention to this situation, there have been lies told by Reggie Wright Jr. for the past 27 years, 28 years. Today is one of the biggest admissions, and the admission came through, I would say, being desperation, if you will. The admission came through desperation. You're going to understand what I'm talking about. So, for years and years and years, Reggie Wright Jr. has been denying that the got him statement actually happened over the radio after 2Pac was shot, right? Y'all have heard it over many times, other than the times that I put together the videos and where Michael Moore was actually saying that, as it was, he was getting into the car with Reggie Wright Jr. about to go to the hospital. See, that's never been an argument, if you will. That's never been the argument. The argument has always been, whether the got him statement even happened. And so rather than saying that he didn't hear it, right? Rather than saying that Reggie Wright Jr. saying that he did not hear the got him statement over his radio and denying that he heard it, Reggie Wright Jr. had tried to uh, make the incident in where it could have happened, or it had to happen. Not where it could have happened. Well, it had to happen inside of the club with loud music. They even made a video in regards to using Gene Deal's video from the Art of Dialogue and trying to basically compare Gene saying something about the Peterson Automotive Museum, something happening over there, versus the Gotham statement at Club 662 in Vegas. So rather than say that he didn't hear the statement, Reggie Wright Jr. has been trying to place Michael Moore inside the club, and somehow he couldn't be able to hear, or wouldn't been able to hear, the statement got him after 2Pac was shot over the radio. It has been confirmed today without a shadow of a doubt that that happened. Right? And so listen, for so long, Suge Knight had said that Reggie Wright Jr. did not come inside of his emergency room, not that he didn't come to the hospital. And in getting that confused in trying to prove that Suge Knight was a liar, Reggie Wright Jr. has now come out and admitted that Michael Moore actually drove to the hospital in the car with him, just like Michael Moore had said. That's when he had heard the statement got him over Reggie Wright's Nextel radio. You get it? So Reggie Wright Jr. was trying to prove Suge Knight wrong as a liar and trying to prove that he did go to the hospital. But that's not what Suge Knight said. Suge Knight said, you know, Reggie Wright Jr. didn't come into his emergency room. If he came to the hospital, he didn't come to my emergency room, was Suge Knight's exact words. He didn't say that he didn't come to the hospital. He said he didn't come to his emergency room, and Suge Knight didn't tell him or give him information on who had shot at him and 2Pac. Then Reggie Wright in the video is titled Reggie Replies to Suge Knight saying he didn't go to the emergency room when him and 2Pac were hit. You can start the video at approximately 1 minute and 26 seconds if you want to hear the admission. Right? So in Reggie Wright Jr. trying to prove Suge Knight as a liar, in which Suge Knight did not say what Reggie tried to make him say in this new video, and it is clear. You understand what I'm saying? So what Reggie Wright did was Reggie Wright went to the 2Pac assassination channel and played the video of Michael Moore stating that, you know, as me and Mr. Wright were about to get into the car, notice how Michael Moore, I've been telling y'all, notice how Michael Moore was always respectful. Me and Mr. Wright, me and Mr. Knight. You understand what I'm saying? This was somebody who respected his job, who respected his profession, and who respected what he was doing for 2Pac, and admitted that he didn't really like 2Pac, really didn't care for him, but his job was most important. I can appreciate a man like that. You know what I mean? Who's not going to flim flam and lie. But I want you to understand this. So in trying to prove that Suge Knight was a liar, Reggie Wright has been saying and never admitted, listen to me, y'all, he never admitted until today. For the last 27 years, Reggie Wright never admitted until today. Reggie Wright has been saying it was him and the guy, George Calise, that were in the car on the way to the hospital. The lawyer, Reggie Wright, had said it was him and George Calise in the car on the way to the hospital to go and see what happened. He never admitted that Michael Moore was in the car. Why do you think that Reggie Wright Jr. would not admit that Michael Moore was in the car? Because like I told y'all in the video that I made not too long ago, if he admitted that, then Michael Moore's statement about the got him over the radio after 2Pac was shot, and the statement, somebody saying over the radio, don't say nothing else over the radio. Michael Moore said that he heard those two things. Why would Michael Moore have to lie about something that he heard over the radio? Like, out of all things, because I mean, at that particular time at that night, you know, he doesn't really know what's going on. He's security. Reggie Wright had moved Michael Moore down to Club 662. If you heard the conversation between Michael Moore and Frank Alexander talking about how that was done and how they were told not to carry weapons that night, right? Michael Moore had nothing to lie about. He had no dog in the fight at that time. He was just an employee. But the key factor here is all of a sudden, now that Suge Knight came out and said that Reggie Wright did not come into his emergency room, not that he didn't come to the hospital, Reggie Wright wants to use the tape that he tried to stay away from and has been dogging and denying and chastising and criticizing for the past 27 years from the 2Pac assassination channel, with Michael Moore saying that as me and Mr. Wright were getting into the car, that's when he heard the stuff over the radio. That's when he heard it over the Nextel walkie-talkie, right? So Reggie, in his haste to want to prove Suge Knight a liar, just admitted that he lied about one of the most crucial and critical parts involved in the 2Pac murder in Las Vegas on September 7, 1996. for so many years. I'm going to say it again. Reggie Wright, until today, has never admitted that Michael Moore drove to the hospital with him in the car coming from Club 662. Reggie has said it was the lawyer, George Calise. He never admitted that Michael Moore. But today, in an effort to prove that Suge Knight was lying and to prove that he did go down to the hospital, which wasn't Suge Knight's argument, Suge said Reggie Wright didn't come into his emergency room. And that Suge said he did not tell Reggie anything about who shot at them or anything like that. Right? But it is clear that on the sister's channel, I can't remember what it was, but you can go back and look at my video a few videos back, right? I forgot the sister's channel that it was on. Reggie Wright did say, admittingly out his mouth, that she asked him about, she said, well, you knew about the, who was responsible about the shooting, right after. So how did you find out, right? And if y'all seen that video, y'all know damn well that Reggie came out his mouth and said, he said that Suge told him that. He was explicit about what he said about that. He said that Suge told him. He said he seen people crying in the hospital. He said, I got that. I got that from Suge, right? See, he wanted to place himself close to the game, close to Suge and close to the know all, be all, end all, know all about what it was, right? But since Suge has been over on Breakbeat Media talking about the situation from that perspective, Reggie, in his haste to try to prove that Suge Knight was a liar, today finally admitted that Michael Moore was getting into the car with him. Reggie has never admitted this guy. This is huge, guys. This says a lot about Reggie Wright Jr. This says a lot about him. He's been lying about a lot of stuff. And I don't know if he's tripping up over his own words. He's forgetting about what he said earlier. But at the end of the day, oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, in the van. Absolutely. The lady. Yeah, absolutely. John Serrano. When Reggie was in that van, he actually said that he had got that information about what happened and who did the shooting from Suge Knight when he went to visit Suge in the hospital. And Suge's in the emergency room, and Suge said, no, that didn't happen, and there's no way on God's green earth. Suge basically said that he told Reggie anything about who did the shooting. Now today in the video over on Bomb First, the one Reggie replies to Suge Knight saying he didn't go to the emergency room when him and 2Pac were hit, right? Reggie is now basically saying, oh no, I told y'all Suge was lying. And puts up the video with Michael Moore saying that Michael Moore got into the car and drove to the hospital. And then Reggie tries to see, he wanted to use one part of the video. He wants to use Michael Moore saying now that, yeah, we went to the hospital. See, he wants to use that one part and that part be true about him, right? But everything else that Michael Moore said, it has to be a lie. Then he quickly goes into saying, well, I don't know about, I don't know about, that Gotham statement. I told y'all I didn't know. He said, but, here's Michael Moore saying that, we went to the hospital. So, but in that same breath, Michael Moore's also saying that he heard the Gotham over the radio. Michael Moore is saying in that same sentence, in that same part of the video, that he heard somebody over the radio say, don't say nothing else over the radio. So there was some animosity there for 2Pac. There was some animosity there for 2Pac. For somebody to say got him, right? Right? And then somebody to quickly come over the radio like Michael Moore said, not what I'm saying. Come over the radio and say, don't say nothing else over the radio. Reggie Wright Jr. has been denying that for the past 28 years. And it has finally come out based on the fact that Suge Knight came and basically exposed the fact that Reggie did not get any information from him in any emergency room at the hospital regarding the fact that he told Reggie Wright Jr. anything about who did the shooting and who was responsible for shooting at him and 2Pac. Suge Knight say he denied that. Excuse me. So when you understand what I'm saying to you today, you can go look at the video now. This is the first time that they've used that video with Michael Moore saying that, but they quickly cut it off. If you're going to play one part of the video, you got to play the whole video. Like I told y'all about the Keefe D situation, if one part about what Keefe D saying is true, then all of it's got to be true. We can't cherry pick the facts and cherry pick the statements that we want to be able to pick and think that, okay, Michael Moore said that, yeah, me and him, went to the hospital. Once again, I'm telling you, Reggie has been denying that Michael Moore was even in the car with him when they drove to the hospital. He said it was just him and George Calise. And he was adamant about that. He never, ever admitted that Michael Moore was in the car. Because to admit that Michael Moore was in the car he would have to admit that Michael Moore actually heard the Gotham, and the Gotham was true. There was animosity towards 2Pac. There was animosity towards 2Pac. Like I said, I don't want to add anything on to anything. I'm talking about the facts. Go look at the video. I'm gonna tell you the video again. Go over there, Bomb, first. Reggie replies to Suge Knight saying that he didn't go to the emergency room when him and 2Pac were hit. It starts at approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds. Go over there and look. And then Michael Moore, so he wants to come, Michael Moore statement to confirm. And then not only that, he also used Frank Alexander's statement. Amazing. 1 minute, Frank Alexander, is he the scum of the earth. Frank Alexander was the scum of the earth. So was Michael Moore. He was the scum of the earth. But now Reggie needs somebody to corroborate him going to the hospital, which wasn't the argument. Once again, Suge said that he didn't come into the emergency room. He did not say that he wasn't at the hospital. He did not come into the emergency room, and Suge said, I didn't tell Reggie nothing about who allegedly did the shooting or shot at them in Vegas that night. Reggie lied about that. And he went on the channel not to. And see, this is the crazy part. See, what Reggie thinks is, Suge is now getting information in real time from however he getting the information. And Suge now is able to respond in the next video that he does on Breakbeat Media. You see what I'm saying? So when Suge basically says this, he had heard Reggie say this about him getting the information, right, from him in regards to who did the shooting. So that he called back to California at that particular time to relay that information. Suge said that's a lie. So what does Reggie do? In his haste to want to be all right and think that he's telling the truth, he uses the very video of Michael Moore saying that he got in the car. He said, as I got in the car, me and Mr. Wright were about to go to the hospital and about to get in the car. That's when he heard the Gotham statement. Everybody across the internet knows this story. But today, it's been a new revelation in regards to that, because Reggie's, I wouldn't say he slipped up and used the video. He wants to now use Michael Moore as his witness, or the statement that Michael Moore used, because Michael Moore has had credibility, has always had credibility, and never appeared to me that he needed to lie about anything. He didn't have a dog in the fight. Michael Moore and Frank Alexander, for those of you guys who have heard the video of them talking together about what happened that night in Vegas and how it went down, and how Michael Moore said that Reggie was trying to pull him off of 2Pac and wanted him to desperately get off of 2Pac because Michael Moore was the only person that had a gun at that particular time, right? Michael Moore stated all of those things. There was no ambiguity in anything that Michael Moore had to say in regards to that. John Serrano, I respect what you're saying about Kevin Gaines. I'm not talking about Kevin Gaines right now. I'm talking about what Michael Moore a person who was guarding Tupac earlier that night, is saying about what happened, is saying about what he heard, what was denied for the past 20, the past 28 some odd years, right? It's now been admitted by Reggie Wright Jr. in the video they did today over on Bomb First that Michael Moore was telling the truth. He wants to use Michael Moore's statement in regards to them going to the hospital, right? But then he quickly says, well, the Gotham statement, I don't remember that. I don't, but you know what? So Michael Moore, and then I thought back and I remembered, no, it don't work that way. It don't work that way. No. See, because now he's saying that what Michael Moore said now about getting into the car with him is true after leaving it out for 28 years when he already knew that. Reggie Wright Jr. knew who he rode to the hospital with that night in Vegas, but he tried to make it look like Michael Moore and him were in the club when the Gotham statement happened. You see how he pushed that back? Let me show you how he did that with another thing. Y'all ready for this? See, he tried to push that statement up in the club with loud music. He did the same thing with the letter firing him. He tried to make it look like it didn't happen on August 27th, 1996. He tried to push it back to June. Oh, he's a slick one. Oh, he's a snake for real. Oh, yes, indeed. And not only that, the crazy part is, as he came out now and admitted it. He came out now and admitted it. Go look at the video, y'all. I'm telling you right now, I don't mind sending somebody over to somebody else's channel if it's going to prove the proof. I could have did the video where I used the actual videos, but you know what? I had to come on and give it to y'all, straight live and in person. But I can tell you right now, you can go with Reggie replies to Suge Knight saying he didn't go to the emergency room when him and Tupac were hit. And Suge Knight confessed that no, he did not come there. Suge Knight confessed that he did not tell him anything in regards to that. This is like I said, this is crazy. This is amazing. Absolutely. It's over on Bomb First. It's over on their channel. Reggie replied. It was a video released about 3 hours ago. Yeah. He slipped up trying to prove Suge a liar and basically admitted to what Michael Moore had said 28 some odd years ago. That he heard the Gotham statement, and then somebody else came over the radio and was like, don't say nothing else over on the radio. Y'all know he been denying this, man. He been calling Michael Moore and Frank Alexander names for the past 20 some odd years. Now y'all understand why. You understand why he been calling Michael Moore them names, because Michael Moore and Frank Alexander simply told the truth. They told the truth about what happened that night. And Reggie has been trying to create this narrative that it did not happen that way, that, they were lying. And, Frank said one thing in his book and then came out later and said something else. Nah, Frank was consistent all along. Frank was consistent all along. So when we really go back in, once again, now Reggie Wright Jr. is trying to use the person in Michael Moore whom he had criticized, called him a drug addict, called him all kinds of names, said the man was on steroids, and said the man was basically, like I said, the scum of the earth. Today, April 15th, right? 2024, Reggie Wright Jr. attempts to use the very person's word whom he called the scum of the earth as credibility to what he did on the night of September 7th, 1996, which still did not confirm whether he went into the emergency room like Shug said. Shug said, no, you might have came to the hospital. He ain't gonna say that he didn't come to the hospital, but he's saying that you didn't come into my emergency room and I told you immediately after what happened. And then Reggie tries to backtrack and say, oh, well, I didn't say I heard that from Suge. Yes, he did. He just said it on the channel the other day with the sisters on there when he was inside the van. He said it explicitly out of his mouth that he heard it from Shug. Now, all of a sudden, Shug comes back and says, no, you didn't hear that from me, right? What does Reggie Wright do? Come out hastily, not thinking, and puts up the video of Michael Moore saying that me and Mr. Wright were on our way getting in the car going to the hospital when Reggie had in fact denied that Michael Moore was even in the car until today. And the fact is, he couldn't say it and people actually believe it. He had to use Michael Moore's words because Michael Moore has credibility even after his death. How powerful is that? When you think about that from that perspective, how powerful is that? But this is the thing that people get confused about. When Warren G said that he heard that Snoop had heard, it was Snoop was getting a call from somebody that was telling him what happened. Snoop, he didn't say Snoop heard a play-by-play of what was going on and it was part of some elaborate setup. See, people, like I said, once again, if you're not really listening closely for yourself, people can take things out of context. And if you don't do your own research, right? If you don't do your own research, you're going to be forced to believe things that are not actually true. Warren G said that Snoop Dogg, he was talking to Snoop, and Snoop said basically they were calling Snoop because Snoop was over at his house in Lakewood, I believe, at that time, right? He was over his house, and that Snoop was getting a play-by-play of what had happened in regards to 2Pac being shot. This was after he was shot, not during the time that he was shot from that perspective. So it wasn't like he was connected to all of the phones that Reggie and him had. That wasn't no, that's not it. Basically, Snoop had a phone that was equivalent to or exact as that, and that somebody was basically calling him, giving him a play-by-play as to what had happened. Yes, he said they heard it on the Nextel, right? And so, but what people were trying to say was like Snoop was, in on it and heard everything and part of the plan. And no, it was something that happened afterward. Like somebody would tell you and call you like, guess what happened? Blah, blah, blah. We was going here, they was doing this, and this is what happened. That's basically what Warren was trying to explain. That's what I understood it to be. Like I said, everybody has their own interpretation as to what they like to. But today, I'm talking about the admission of Reggie Wright Jr. that Michael Moore was in the car with him going to the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think you understand how pivotal this is. Reggie Wright Jr. has been denying this for the past 28 years. I told you once again, when it came time to try to play hero with the Keefe D situation, Reggie Wright was giving people like he was predicting things and, I'm Keefe going to be arrested. But little did we know behind the scenes, and Reggie never admitted it, that he had went and testified to the grand jury. And in that testimony, as you've seen in videos that I've done, Reggie Wright Jr. went and testified after he lied. Remember, Michael Moore also said he was the one that told us about the Nextel radios. Remember, Michael Moore talked about the Nextel radios that nobody really knew about, right? Michael Moore was the one that talked about that. Reggie Wright Jr. denied that also. He was like, the phones at that time, the Nextel radios at that time didn't have no walkie-talkie feature. It couldn't do that. Go look at the video I made involving the transcript when he went over there and testified in front of the grand jury involving Keefe D. And look what he told them. He told them that the Nextel radio, that, he basically said that Frank Alexander did not contact him after the fight, but as the Nextel radio had the walkie-talkie feature and that Frank could have done so. See, when it's time to look like a hero, he tries to make somebody else look like a zero. so that he could look like the hero. So now it's time for Keefe D to optically look like a zero. Reggie comes in and goes and testifies to the grand jury and tries to look like the hero. When in fact, we know that Suge Knight said that he told him to send 5 more security guards. Reggie did not send anybody. We know for a fact that Michael Moore said that Reggie Wright pulled him off of 2Pac that night when 2Pac wanted Michael Moore on him. This is a fact that 2Pac was actually trying to get in touch with Reggie, trying to find out where Michael Moore was after Michael Moore was pulled off of him that night. I've told you on more than one occasion. Reggie Wright Jr. is complicit in the murder of 2Pac Shakur through negligence, malfeasance, disobedience, and total disregard for somebody, for Suge Knight's orders and telling him to send 5 more security guards, and he didn't. This is a fact. Suge said it didn't happen, didn't have to happen like it did, because he asked Reggie to send 5 more security guards. But today, man, I couldn't believe it when I saw the video. I couldn't believe that Reggie Wright would go and try to use Michael Moore's statement. Michael Moore is the person said that the Nextel radios, that they had the walkie-talkie feature, right? Reggie denied that and said Michael Moore was lying and that it couldn't do that. But then 27 some odd years later, goes in front of the Keefe D grand jury and admits that the Nextel radios could actually do that and actually did have that feature, right? Michael Moore was also the person that told us about the Gotham statement, right? But Reggie Wright had been denying that also, and denying the fact that Michael Moore was even in the car riding to the hospital until today, in which he put out a video trying to prove Suge Knight a liar, and where he uses the very person that he criticized and called a liar, uses the very statement, not just any statement. He used the very statement in which in the same sentence, if he let the video play a little bit longer, Michael Moore would have got to the part where he said that, that's when he heard the Gotham statement. Reggie Wright Jr. has been denying that for the past 27 years, but used the video today to try to get everybody else to believe that, oh yeah, I did go to the hospital. That wasn't Suge Knight's argument. Suge Knight said that you didn't come to his emergency room, and he did not tell you anything about who allegedly shot at him and 2Pac. That is a fact. Suge Knight said those words. And then Reggie said, oh, I never said that I got it from Suge Knight. Yes, he did. He was over on the sister's channel, right? Inside the van with his head turned to the right, trying to hear what she said through the phone. And she asked him specifically, well, you knew about, shortly after, how did you find out about the shooting and who did whatever what? And he explicitly said, I went to the hospital. I seen everybody crying. I got that from Suge when I went to see him in the emergency room. That was a lie. That was a lie. For the people who just came in the room, go over to Bomb First and look at the video. Reggie Wright replies to Suge Knight saying he didn't go to the emergency room when him and 2Pac got hit. And look at how he tries to use Michael Moore's and Frank Alexander's video to basically back up, right? Back up his credibility. But he had been denying anything that they had said about this for the past 27 years. You see now? Look at what's going on. Suge Knight is speaking out. Now Reggie is trying to go back to the employees who he has been criticizing, because now he needs, once Reggie could speak out on his own and create these stories and create his own stories that he thought would stand on their own, he could say anything he wanted to until Suge starts speaking out. You see what I'm saying? See, now that Shug starts speaking out, now he needs to go back and revert back to the people that he's been calling a liar, names, drug addicts, steroid users, and all of these other derogatory statements that he's made about Frank Alexander and Michael Moore. Now he needs to go back and try to use their words for credibility for him. Some powerful shit, man. Boy, this internet. And see, like I said, once again, when you talk about what that is and then what that means, right? We get it now. And then Reggie, in this same video that I'm telling y'all to go check out, in the same video, Reggie then says, y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand. Suge Knight is in jail. In that desperate way that he's tried to convince her, oh, Suge Knight is in jail and he'll say anything. No, that wasn't what you were saying a few years ago when Suge couldn't speak out. When Shug couldn't speak out, it was, Shug is my right-hand man. He even had us convinced, if you didn't know any better and didn't listen and don't remember, Reggie Wright Jr. even had us convinced that Suge Knight was going to come on Bomb First and do some kind of podcast. How many of y'all remember that? How many of y'all remember that? Because it didn't happen. Now he's over on Breakbeat Media, right? And I'm talking specifically about this, right? So when we deal with the facts of the matter, basically Reggie just told on himself. He admitted that he's been lying all this time. And this video, I had to download this video. That video was so dope. I had to download it. Just keep it in my archives because this one right here is a classic. I want to thank John at Bomb First. Hey, John, I want to thank you for covering this one here. You did a spectacular job. John, I don't know who you're working for, but John, you're doing a hell of a job with getting Reggie to reveal the truth. I really appreciate you. I think the 2Pac fan, can we give John over at Bomb First a round of applause, everybody in the what's name? Hit the clap button, please. Hit the clap button. If y'all can hit the little claps, with the little hands. Yeah. Give John a round of applause. John, you did a hell of a job. Because this one right here is classic. I don't know if you own the rights or the copyrights to these videos that you've been putting out on Reggie, but you have been doing 2Pac a hell of a job, man. I got to give you that one, John. With this video that you put out today, you got Reggie and you actually used the video. I don't know if you do the editing, John, but you actually put up the video that Reggie wanted you to put up in regards to Michael Moore basically confirming and Reggie actually confirming that Michael Moore got in the car with him. And Michael Moore actually heard the got him statement. So we now know today, without a shadow of a doubt, that it's true. That it's actually true. And that Reggie had been lying about three key things. Number one, he lied about the got him statement. Number two, he lied about Michael Moore not being in the car, driving to the hospital, right? Number three, he lied about where he got the information from in regards to what happened, because he said he got it from Shug, but he didn't get it from Shug. See, he wanted, like I said, once again, if you're going to say something where you got information and for it to be believed, you want to at least say that you got it from the source. So, he had been telling that for years, saying that for years, not just the other day on the Sisters channel, but he wanted to say that. He'd been saying that for years, me and Shug, and Shug coming over here, we're going to be doing something with Shug later on. He lied about Yasmin Fula, Yaki Gaddafi's mom, talking about, yeah, we talking to somebody that's talking to Yasmin right now about coming over here on Bomb First. That was a lie too. I know damn well Yasmin Fula not coming over on no Bomb First. And that's not even to be, saying anything crazy, but I just know who she is as a person because I've had the chance to speak with her. And she is in no mood to play no games in regards to anything, in regards to her son or anything like that. You got to understand that first and foremost. That lady lost her son. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, right? And so now, then you go back to, like I told y'all, remember, Reggie Wright Jr. tried to, when I made the video, Reggie Wright Jr. had came out and he was asked by John from Bomb First. John had asked him, John said, so this thing about the got him statement. And Reggie said, well, at the time that what happened, we was in the club. He never said that Michael Moore and him got in the car. I want y'all to understand this. What Reggie said was at the, the time the got him statement, whatever, we were in the club and it was loud music and blah, blah, blah. He tried to convince us so much that he went over on the Art of Dialogue and he actually used a Gene Deal snippet from the Art of Dialogue about Gene Deal talking about the night at the Peterson Automotive Museum. And Art had asked him, could you hear what was going on that night? And Gene was like, no, because the music was loud. So what Reggie tried to do was capitalize off of that statement and tried to create the narrative and push it back to where that possibly could have happened, which was in Club 662 amongst loud music, right? So it would make it an impossibility for anybody to hear anything. Michael Moore didn't hear that. I didn't hear that because we was in the Club 662 and the music was loud, right? That's what he had everybody thinking. So Suge Knight comes out and said, no, I didn't tell you anything. You didn't come to my emergency room, and I didn't tell you anything after the shooting happened, right? Ha. Then now, today, April 15th, 2024, Reggie Wright Jr. makes a video over on Bomb First where he tries to use Michael Moore's statement about getting in the car, going to the hospital after the shooting, coming from Club 662. You got to ask yourself a question. Why didn't Reggie say that, Michael Moore drove all of these years, right? Other than Suge calling him a liar, why didn't Reggie Wright Jr. said that Michael Moore, for all of the other times that he had denied it, why didn't he say that, Michael Moore was in the car with me? He could verify that. You know why? Because Suge hadn't spoke out and said that Reggie was a liar in regards to coming to the emergency room. See how things are being revealed? You see how things are being revealed? They're being gradually revealed. And so now you don't have to try to fit the pieces together, the puzzle. They already fit. You just have to find the time and where they fit, because you put other pieces to the puzzle before you put other pieces. And then the puzzle comes together. Absolutely, Carl Mitchell. Absolutely. Wow. And like I said, for the people who don't understand, and the people who, right, that's the listen to me. That's the reason why I believe that the Gotham, right, was heard over the radio. There was a certain amount of sentiment, negative sentiment, jealousy for Tupac. And that jealousy came from the fact that he had fired Reggie. What's also evident is that this is not coming from people. You got to understand, this is not coming from people that were next to the person that was next to the person. This is coming from Michael Moore, who was on Tupac that night before he was pulled off, and Frank Alexander, who was actually on Tupac, during the fight and in the car behind them when the shooting happened. You got to understand that. People got to really understand what's going on here. So once again, when they started speaking out and not wanting to basically corroborate the lies that Reggie was trying to get, specifically Frank Alexander, to tell on Orlando Anderson by saying that Orlando Anderson tried to snatch Tupac's chain, and that's what led up into the fight, right? Frank was like, nah, he didn't want to perjure himself in regards to that, because he had already made a statement to the Metro Police. So if he made one statement and then testified to something else, that's basically perjury. So Frank was like, nah. When Frank didn't want to do that, Reggie started the veiled threats and all of this other stuff that's been going on for the past 20 some odd years. No. Frank's situation. No, Frank. No, nobody. No, Frank. From what I understand, Frank did take his own life. Yeah, he took his own life. And but Frank had already kind of confessed to that. See, I don't see. This is the thing. When we talking, I'm not trying to demon. This is not about demonization of nobody. Frank had all made a public statement about how he had felt suicidal. That's a fact. He already made that statement that where he was feeling whatever he was feeling, whether he suffered from mental illness or anything else. So I'm not giving nobody that kind of credit for that, for nothing like that. No, Frank Alexander took his own life. for whatever he took his own life for, I know some things that, yeah, no, that didn't happen. No. So please, don't try to confuse and attach stuff that's not supposed to be attached to situations like that. Neither did Michael Moore. Michael Moore had died. Basically, Michael Moore had a problem with opioids. He did have a problem with opioids. And you know what I mean? So like I said, he was dealing with pain. You know what I mean? And so, like I said, that's a lot of people. That's not something that's, far-fetched, with the Oxycontin thing and all of those things. You know what I mean? And so when you talk about that, that happened to a lot of people, white, black, and that got on like, Oxycontin because they was in pain and they began to abuse it. And then some, you get used to it and then you take too much and your heart just stop beating, you know. If you watch the Netflix movie, the documentary, when they talk about the pharmaceutical company, I forgot the name, but they talk about all of that and all of the people that were dying from the opioids at that particular time. So that's not a far-fetched thing. No, I do not believe that, no. Like I said, from what I understand and all of the research that I've done, Frank did take his own life, unfortunately. You know what I mean? And he had admitted to that prior to even, that happening, that he had felt suicidal and all of those things. So, but like I said, more importantly, ladies and gentlemen, today, April 15th, 2024, Reggie Wright Jr. now admits that Michael Moore was telling the truth about the Nextel radio, about the Gotham statement, also about the don't say nothing else over the radio, and has proven that Michael Moore, as well as Frank Alexander, never lied in regards to that situation in particular. I can't speak about anything else in regards to that situation in particular. Like I said, if you just coming in the room, go over on Bomb First, look at the video that they put out about 3 to 4 hours ago. Reggie replies to Suge Knight saying he didn't go to the emergency room when him and 2Pac were hit. The audacity after criticizing Frank Alexander and Michael Moore and calling them names after their death all these years. When it comes to Reggie Wright Jr. actually having to use somebody else's statement who he's been criticizing for all of these years, he would have the audacity to use the same two people whom he has just desecrated their name, what they stood for, and all of those things. He has the audacity to go then and put up the very interview that he's been saying that was a lie all along, trying to use that to prove that he went to the hospital. When after all of these years, he never admitted that Michael Moore was in the car when they went to the hospital from Club 662. He just said it was him and George Cleese. You can look that up. I might make a video about all of the statements and everything, line it up so you can understand where I'm coming from. But for the people who know and understand, y'all know where I'm coming from. Yes, sir. Deshaun Marshall. Yes, sir. Oh, he could take the video down. I already got a copy of it. I downloaded it. Yeah. 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 Just like I did a couple of other days. Like I said, once again, everybody in the chat give John, Gullible John over at Bomb First a round of applause for making this video and finally getting Reggie. Because I know John, you gotta know that this guy's a liar, man. You gotta know it. You gotta know it by now. You gotta know it. You gotta know it because you know all of the statements that he made on your channel. And see, not only that, I want you to understand something. John did the interview with Frank Alexander, and that's also over at Bomb First, right? He did the interview with Frank Alexander when Frank was talking about everything, even Frank admitting that he received the letter, right? And where 2Pac was firing Right Way Protective Services because the guy that ran the office basically told Frank Alexander what had happened, and Frank went to talk to Tupac, right? Frank said he still had the letter, but never got a chance to release the letter so that we could see it. So it's always been like a, a kind of, you know, um, a blank area, gray area. Did it really happen? Did it really not happen? Right? And once Reggie Wright Jr. began to talk crazy about Ayaki Gaddafi's mom after she got mad because Reggie Wright Jr. took her son down to the police station in Vegas to make a statement without her permission, and she was upset about that, Reggie then started to talk greasy about her. So what does the former Black Panther, intelligent, charismatic Black woman do? She steps back and she just slides out the facts with Tupac's signature on it and Reggie's name written, as well as the statement about how his security company was fired. And even after that was released, Reggie still tried to deny the fact that he was fired, even after it was in black and white. Amazing. Amazing. Reggie Wright Jr. has no credibility. I see why now, right? I see why today with this video being released. I see why they tried to come for me and try when I talked about Tupac not really being signed to death row. I see why he tried to come at me. The reason why was because up until that point, Reggie was kind of the go-to guy for the fictitious, fake, lying stories about Tupac and Suge Knight, as y'all can see, because now the Suge Knight talking, he's revealing a lot of things, in which, he understands from, when his name was mentioned by Reggie from that perspective, right? He's clarifying a lot of those things at this particular point. Yeah, I seen that, little Dex. I like Whack 100 though. I'm not tripping, and I'll speak on that. Like me and Whack, I didn't know Whack, but I was at the Pacquiao fight, and y'all see the video with Whack and the Michael Jordan thing. That's actually my video. I own that video. You know what I mean? And Whack, like I said, I seen Whack stand up, and like I said, I call a spade a spade. I seen Whack stand up. Whack didn't do nothing that night. We was in Vegas. We was just coming out to fight the Pacquiao Mayweather fight. And Michael Jordan bodyguard had actually bumped and tried to push Whack out the way. Whack didn't do nothing. He wasn't trying to provoke nothing. And Whack stood his ground. You know what I mean? But as to the Tupac thing in regards to that statement, right? It's been clarified by Tupac. I don't know if you guys seen the video with Tupac over in his condo where Tupac spoke on not anybody else, but he had spoke on when I think Puffington was trying to make the statement that somehow he was raped in jail. And he was saying that he had to answer little girls' letters who had thought that he had been raped in jail or something had happened to him like that, right? And Tupac confirmed to the whole world that, that he would be dead before he would let something like that happen to him from that perspective. I stand with Tupac on that. Like I said, I don't really entertain anything else other than from that perspective. Like I said, what Wax said, they might have got Shug saying something on tape. I don't really know how true that is. It could be true. I don't know. You know what I mean? But like I said, people say what they want to say. But like I said, from that perspective, I knew Tupac personally, and even when he got out of jail, like I said, the times that we had talked, you know what I mean? He was the same person that I had, consistently seen over and over and over again. And like I said, as also, I would say this, as you guys know, that I interviewed Tupac's father, right? And Tupac's father went and when he was, after Tupac's death, they sent a lot of the stuff and paperwork and visiting lists and letters and things like that to his father, being the other parent. And there was no information, none whatsoever. And I talked to Tupac's father, daily. Yeah, absolutely. TL Garrett, you seen the video with Tupac in his condo, right? And that's basically all I have to say about that. You know what I mean? From that, because people was asking me, why don't you say, say something about what Wax said and this, that, and the other. I'm like, I don't have to do that. Tupac already talked about that. And the person that could really accurately talk about that, that's why I'm referring you guys over to the video where Tupac was in his condo and he was talking about the whole Puffy Biggie situation and things of that nature. Like I said, when I seen Wack in Vegas, Wack stood his ground. Like I said, he's a stand-up dude from what I understand and what I seen personally before I even knew who he was, before this YouTube and internet thing. What's the name? And like I said, the statement that he had made is that he had heard audio in regards to Suge saying something about that. I haven't heard that audio. I can't speak on that from that perspective, but I can speak on what Tupac said. And as we can go over there and pull up that, I think it was the Vibe interview, where the young lady was sitting on the couch with Tupac at his condo, and Tupac basically confirmed as to what people were saying at that particular time. And that was more along the timeline of, not anybody else saying it, but what people were passing off, from the perspective of something that happened to him in jail and so on and so forth. And another thing, we've never heard anybody come out and try to claim that and make a move on that and saying, hey, yeah, because we heard that anybody who was down to Dan Amora with Tupac at that particular time. So I just choose to move with Tupac on that one. But more importantly, like I said, at the end of the day, today is a revealing day in regards to the statement that Reggie Wright admits that Michael Moore was telling the truth. Once again, about the Gotham statement. Once again, about the statement, don't say nothing else over the radio. And Reggie Wright Jr. had been denying for the past 27 years and did not mention that Michael Moore was even in the car. When they rode to the hospital, Reggie Wright Jr. said explicitly out of his mouth that it was just him and the lawyer. It was just him and the lawyer. He never admitted that Michael Moore until today, that he tried to use the video to confirm or get us to believe that he went to the hospital. But he slipped up because he went a little too far. Shug didn't say that you didn't come to the hospital. Shug basically said that you didn't come to the emergency room and that he didn't tell you anything about what happened and who actually did the shooting of him and Tupac that night. But I appreciate John from Bomb First for using this video. Like I said, once again, they say lies run sprints, man, but the truth runs marathons. Today, Frank Alexander and Michael Moore, 2Pac Shakur, right? They have taken the lead in the marathon for the truth involving 2Pac Shakur, the death of 2Pac Shakur, the night surrounding that, right? He said, Julius Jackson. Julius, like I said, Julius, it's been confirmed what it is and what it isn't. I don't even need to go there. Like I said, sometimes you need to just stay with the facts. The facts are sufficient. The name calling, that was something, like I said, once again, not that I name called, but I could back up what I was saying with paperwork, documentation, and statements. As you've seen the other video that I just did the other day with Reggie admitting, him admitting that the only people that he informed to the FBI on, the only people that he informs to the FBI on are crooked mayors and niggas that he don't like. I'm going to say it again. That's what he said out of his mouth. The only people that he informs on to the FBI or would go to the FBI on or have gone to the FBI on is crooked mayors and niggas that he don't like, meaning black men. Right? And like I said, once again, Michael Moore had told us about the Nextel radios before anybody really knew that they had Nextel radios. This was the ironic thing to me. When Michael Moore made the statement about the Nextel radios, like nobody in the public really knew that. That was an inside thing at Death Row. You know what I mean? And Frank Alexander basically said that, the Nextel radios was like a new thing, a new apparatus that they were using to communicate, if you will, right? And so when Michael Moore came out and said what he heard over the radio, for the past 27 years, Reggie had been denying that. No, the Nextel radios didn't have that capability. We was in the nightclub, so nobody could have heard anything about got him or don't say nothing else on the radio. The statement involving the letter of 2Pac sending and firing Reggie and the security company. Reggie tried to push that back to June to the Keyshawn Johnson draft party at the House of Blues, right? When in fact, once Yasmin Fuller released the actual, see now listen, when Reggie made the statement in regards to the letter from being fired, the letter from being fired wasn't released yet. See, this is what you got to understand. So the statements made, oh yeah, 2Pac sent the letter, firing me. Reggie was replying to Frank Alexander, who never actually released the letter so that we can see and confirm when the letter was actually released. Frank had said sometime around August, right? But we never seen it. So we couldn't really confirm it. So what Reggie tried to do was Reggie tried to get in front of that also and then tried to push it back to June at the Keyshawn Johnson a draft party, right? Because if you knew the truth that it was actually August 27th, 1996, and we confirmed that when Yasmin Fuller, Yaki Gaddafi, may he rest in peace, mom actually released the actual letter. Boom. You understand what I'm saying? Tell the truth and shame the devil, man. So when you understand that and you put all of that together, Reggie did the same thing with the got him statement. And we understand that to be true by the video that was released today. He had said, what? We was in a nightclub, man, you couldn't hear nothing like that and the loud music. Tell me, he told a whole elaborate story behind how, in the nightclub where you couldn't hear it, they was banging this kind of music and, ain't no way he could have heard that. That was the narrative up until April 15th, 2024 today, when he needed somebody to actually help with the credibility of him actually going to the hospital after 2Pac and Shug was shot. And he used his former employee, which he had been demonizing. As long as he could tell the lies and tell the lies that he was telling, he was demonizing Michael Moore and Frank Alexander. But now that he needed that statement from Michael Moore and Frank Alexander about going to the hospital, he used it. But what he forgot was that wasn't the only statement that they made. So if one part of the statement had to be true in him going to the hospital, then all of the video was true. You can't cherry pick your own facts. I know some people really don't pay attention, and they want to believe what they want to believe. But please, I would implore you to not fool yourself. Don't do yourself a disservice and take in false information because you might not like somebody or you may not agree with somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Don't do that to yourself. People can lie to you and say whatever, or basically lie to themselves. Do not let that happen to you. Do not let that be you, where you take in false information and make a decision with false information, because you ain't doing nobody a disservice but yourself. And so when we talk about what happened today, it has been revealed. It has been revealed. And I'm going to sum it to you like this. That night in Vegas, Reggie Wright Jr., because he was fired on August 27th, 1996 by 2Pac Shakur for being a chatty patty, for being a unscrupulous police officer at that particular time, and 2Pac could smell it, for talking about 2Pac's business too much, and not really doing what he was supposed to do. 2Pac fired him. Also because 2Pac could not get his masters when he tried to get his masters, and they prevented Tupac from getting his masters from the studio when he wanted to get the masters from the studio. That was really the truly underlying reason. And at that same time, he not only fired Reggie Wright Jr., but he fired David Kenner as his attorney, which at that particular time, we understand, looking back, was a conflict of interest, right? So now he's fired. You go to Las Vegas, supposed to be, well, let's go to New York first, because the statement has always been made, well, my security was on him in New York. That's a telling thing now. The security was on him in New York. Why? The security was on Tupac in New York because Reggie Wright Jr. was still employed by Death Row. So when Suge Knight said, yo, Michael, y'all, you got Tupac, and you can see, I put up the video where Michael Moore was actually guarding Tupac in New York. There's an actual video of Michael Moore on his headset, got his hand up to his ear, guarding Tupac that night, right? The reason why that was because they still work for Death Row. They were moonlighting after hours as Tupac's personal security, but Tupac fired Reggie for that because Reggie was talking about Tupac's personal business, what he was doing, who he was with, and listening to and getting and kind of debriefing the security guards that were on him, and then going back and chatty patty that information, if you will, right? So that's why the security was on him in New York, as of Suge's direction. Suge said basically, I pay you, Reggie. Tupac don't pay you, I pay you. Remember? So now you go to Las Vegas. See, Las Vegas was the fight. Las Vegas wasn't, the music industry event where there was business. It was the fight. So now, Reggie did everything in his power because he's hot, right? To get the security off of Tupac. Michael Moore. That's why Frank Alexander was the only security guard on Tupac that night. That's why. Remember, John, in the video you did with Frank Alexander, right? Frank told you that Tupac told him that he was leaving Death Row. And Frank told you that Tupac said, that Tupac had told him, he said, yeah, nigga, you ain't got nothing to worry about. You going with me. Remember Frank said that, John? He was telling the truth, man. He was telling the truth. That man didn't have no reason to lie about nothing like that, man. He was telling the truth. The fact of the matter that he was telling the truth is that he fired David Kenner and he fired Reggie Wright Jr. in the security company. That is confirmation. That's confirmation. That's documentation. That ain't something that you just want to float out there. And that does not make Suge Knight a bad guy. Because we know for a fact now through the paperwork that Tupac wasn't signed to Death Row anyway. I showed y'all the contract. Suge played his part. Suge did what he was supposed to do. Look, Suge, we want him to come over there, sign with Death Row. You can keep an eye on him and all of those things. That was what was supposed to happen. And it worked. It worked for marketing. It worked for record sales. It worked for everything. Until in the end, it didn't really work for Tupac. Because of various reasons. But the main reason is that Reggie Wright didn't do his job. He didn't listen to Suge Knight when Suge asked him to send 5 more security guards. He disobeyed a direct order from his boss. That is a fact. And see, if you don't want to believe that, then let's go back to the video that they used today. Let's go back to that video that they used today trying to confirm or use Michael Moore as a credibility builder for Reggie Wright. Go back to that video. Michael Moore said it himself. Tupac wanted to know what was going on, why he was being pulled off of him and being called to 662. Tupac tried to reach out and find out what was going on. He tried to reach Reggie Wright Jr., but he couldn't reach him. Michael Moore said all of these things. I didn't. Right? So now Michael Moore is the only person who wouldn't relinquish his weapon, who kept his gun on him while they were in Vegas. Frank trying to be, he was overworked That's why Frank couldn't get to his gun. Frank was overworked. Frank trying to, guard 2Pac. They leave the hotel. 2Pac tell Frank, yo, I want you to drive the Outlaws. Frank said he got his gun over in his car, but he can't get there. He can't leave 2Pac. So he just rolls, you know what I mean, with him anyway, just like he was at the MGM Grand. Because you can't take guns into there. I don't care if you security or not. You ain't taking no gun into no fight. You just can't do that. If you've been out, like I just told you, I went to many fights, the Pacquiao Mayweather fight, a bunch of the fights. As you can look back on the wall right there, look. You see that? Right. Shirt signed by Floyd, tickets, the ticket that I had from that night, because it was a classic event. You understand what I'm saying? So when we talk about that, that was the reason why Frank didn't have no gun. Frank, it wasn't like he didn't want to. He couldn't get to his car. Everybody's ready to move. He's downstairs waiting on 2Pac to go to the Luxor to come back down. So when they move, it's like, I can't go over there. I got to go and, go with them. Pac asked me to drive the Outlaw. Okay, cool. Not knowing what was going to happen happened. But like I said, as you see with the tape at the MGM Grand, we could see clearly when the situation happened that Frank was right there. Frank was the one that pulled 2Pac off Orlando. You understand? When Frank was right there the whole time. If you look at the tape that they had walking through there, he was right behind 2Pac. 2Pac was walking fast. Frank was right there behind him or beside him in that vicinity. And the question that must be asked, or better yet, it was asked by the young lady over there on her channel. What she said? She said, Frank, Reggie Wright said, what he said? He said, I had niggas that was over there with 2Pac that I trusted more than right way security. Reggie Wright said that the homies, in which I don't doubt, nobody's love for homie and support for 2Pac at that particular time. Let's be clear, right? But that wasn't their job. That wasn't the homies' job. Now, if the homies, they wanted to get, whatever, but that wasn't their job. The homies was there for leisure and kicking it too. The job of security was right way protective services by way of employment through Death Row and Suge Knight. It's that simple. And the reason why 2Pac Shakur was allowed to, because listen, I don't know if y'all seen the video with 2Pac, and the lady was asking 2Pac, like, but what about, he said, I'm a Gemini. He said, sometimes you got to protect me from people and also protect me from myself, right? When a job as security is not only to protect the person from other people, but also to protect the person from themselves. And if 2Pac was adequately secured that night, right? If he was adequately secured and everybody played their part on the team that was being paid on the team and did their job, it don't happen like that. Because 2Pac wouldn't be allowed to run over to anybody in regards to anything in dealing with that situation. Teamwork make the dream work. But Reggie Wright Jr. wasn't thinking like a team at that particular time. Like he said, he was thinking like that vindictive individual that he said that he could be. And that's the truth. So like I said, go over there. The new video they just put up, Reggie replies to Suge Knight saying he didn't go to the emergency room when him and 2Pac were hit. And Reggie uses the video of Michael Moore and Frank Alexander as his basically his credibility builder, because his credibility is zero. He now needs Michael Moore's video and Frank Alexander video to prove to the world that he went to the hospital afterwards, when that wasn't even the argument. So not actually telling on himself willingly, he made a mistake. He made a mistake. And he revealed his whole hand. We get it now. We get it now. And like I said before, this is nothing that I made up, nothing that I said. These are words that Reggie Wright Jr. has said for the past 27 odd years. All the way up until when it's time to, Frank Alexander and Michael Moore, just 3 weeks ago was zeros. They were nothing. May they rest in peace. According to Reggie Wright, they were zeros. But today, when needing to respond to Suge Knight and trying to prove that he came to the hospital, which wasn't Suge Knight's argument that he didn't come to the hospital, it was just that he didn't come to the emergency room and that Suge didn't tell him anything about what happened, right? And him wanting to prove to the world that he wasn't a liar, he actually proved that he was a liar. Your boy DELRAY, straight game.